For all of you who have been following my channel, I think a lot of you realize that I decided to make a move from a particular place that had a lot of blacks to a place that had almost no blacks, or that has almost no blacks. And there are things that you have to take into consideration in order to really prepare yourself, not only to deal with the demographic shift, but the challenges that may lie ahead. And while I don't regret my decision, and while overall I have gained a lot, it didn't come without some sort of preparation and some sort of realizations. So for all of you who are wondering, should I move to a place that, even if it's in the United States, should I move to a place that is not predominantly black or has a less than 10% black population? Well, move where you'll find the most success. Quite frankly, and that's the case. But in order for that success to come, you have to prepare yourself for it. And prepare yourself for anything that what you've been taught isn't always the solid thing. So, here are a couple of tips on how to survive in flyover country as a black man. Now, you want to call it flyover country, middle America, the sticks, whatever you want to call it. There are certain things that you have to realize, which are not the case where you may live right now, but are the case here, and vice versa. For starters, you have to get rid of that we're all in together, we're all pro-black, I'm going to find people of like color and all that kind of stuff. Those rules do not apply in a place that you have rarely any blacks. Trust me. That may apply to certain Africans and Caribbeans who come here from refugee countries or immigrants, whatnot. But you as an American black, note that a lot of blacks tend to have a certain mindset, or a lot of blacks who tend to come out here, for the most part, want to get away from other blacks. That's just the same. That's just the point. And that's especially true when it comes to females. Now, you know, a lot of these black females who you see out here, a lot of them, don't be fooled that a lot of them are more proper and prim than your average hood rat or covert hood rat who lives in the suburbs near the hood. A lot of them are outright bad wenches who basically want almost nothing to do with you, or if they do want something to do with you, they're going to make you jump through more hoops than most non-black men. I mean, especially in the place I live, for a bad wench, this is considered heaven. So, with all the options that she has with men of other races, especially white men, why would she waste her time dealing with you, Mr. Black Man? I mean, that's just how they think. So throw away that we're all black and we gotta stick together shit mindset out the window. That is not applicable in flyover country. 2, not everyone is going to like you, nor do they need to like you. Now, face facts, a lot of people in flyover country are not accustomed to seeing African Americans in real life, much less dealing with them on a daily basis. I mean, you will get stares, you will get questions, you will have times in which people will say stuff that isn't politically correct. And sometimes you will have instances of, basically racism. And note that a lot of that is not required, or a lot of what liberals will tell you about how blacks should be loved and have their ass kissed by everyone. That is not a requirement to survive out in flyover country. It just isn't. What I've noticed is that for me personally, I have dealt with a lot of scenarios in which, people may not have liked me on a surface level, but, and this is more applicable to work, but when I proved myself, that's when they realized that, okay, we may not hang out with you or want to hang out with you personally, but you deliver, you give your effort, you do your hardest job. So we're not going to even try to get you fired. We're going to be hands off, whatever. And that's usually the attitude of a lot of people out in this part of the country, out in almost any parts of what they call flyover country. Because a lot of these people tend to think of a conservative mindset. And the conservative mindset is that as long as you're trying to work, or as long as you're doing your best, then there is basically no reason why we should let you not eat, essentially. Compare that to Democrats and a lot of liberals who, quite frankly, get a boner off of seeing blacks struggle, but the second when they see a black person trying to do something for themselves, especially if it's a black man, they will be the first ones to try to prevent you from succeeding. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I decided to move from DC to Utah, is because of that reason. On the subject of people not needing to like you in order to respect you, which is basically the point number 2. They don't need to like you in order to respect you. And trust me, with respect comes like. Number 3, ignore the ignorance. Now, there are some cases in which you will find yourself being the only black person in the room, and you will get a lot of attention, a lot of stares, some of which will be good stares. I mean, stares of curiosity of, oh, okay, that's new. But there will be instances when people just look at you like, what the fuck? Or people who just look at you out of curiosity, just to do a double take. You will get questions, you will receive comments, and you will hear things that, while not racist in nature, are politically incorrect or just outright ignorant. And to those scenarios, I say, let it slide. Let it roll off your back. Trust me. A lot of people in flyover country are not as exposed to a lot of culture than people in the cities. Not everyone has been exposed to different ethnic groups, especially in places where I live, like places like in the Mountain West or in the interior South, like those Appalachian, Allegheny areas. And quite frankly, if you are a black person who has an IQ above 100, you should definitely know the difference between someone being ignorant and someone being hateful. Especially if you come from a hateful part of the country, which for black men, quite frankly, it's the majority of parts east of the Mississippi River. And the more east you go, the more hateful it gets. Yeah, you got some exceptions like LA or whatever, but yeah. Also, as far as what you need to know or what you need to learn in order to survive flyover country is, and I say this in a lot of my videos in general, is to not be a victim. Not blame everything and think everything is a result of racism and white supremacy and bigotry. Quite frankly, shit happens for many reasons. And I think a lot of people, like, for instance, as I stated before, a lot of people in flyover country are conservative. That's just how it is. Don't think that because someone votes Republican or somebody believes in conservative values or somebody even supported Trump means that they're a racist. Just because someone is against affirmative action or is anti-welfare state or is pro-gun, which, I mean, if they're pro-gun, come on. Which community needs guns the most? But if somebody believes in conservative talking points, it doesn't mean they're an outright racist. Unlike what the liberals have told you, there are certain people who just want to live their lives with as little government intervention as possible, which is the main reason why a lot of people, especially the more west you go, are more conservative than not. And it's not all about Jeebus and we hate blackies. No, trust me. Maybe that's the case in parts of the Deep South, and especially Northeast is a whole nother story. But the other thing you're going to have to learn is that you do not have the social network support that you may have had back where you're from or where you're at. And let's be honest, a lot of blacks in general don't have that support as is. So that's why people like myself tend to take the risk of moving out here, knowing that at the very worst, it will be no worse than what we have back there. But for the few of you who have built up racial-based networks, and mainly those who probably live in places like Atlanta, DC, to a lesser extent Chicago, Charlotte, whatever, Houston, Dallas, you're not going to have those black networks to rely on living in flyover country. Which leads to my next point of learning how to do for self. Some people call it hustling, getting inside jobs. Some people call it busting your ass, doing whatever, going back to school. You're going to have to learn to fend for yourself. A lot of people, particularly a lot of whites, when they moved out here to the Western United States, they had to learn how to fend for themselves. It was do or die. And there were a lot of cases where a lot of white settlers faced the latter. Families completely wiped out. Names gone from history due to whatever. Whether it was sickness, natives, whatever. A lot of them had to learn how to survive and eventually tame the Wild West. And that's what you, black man, will have to do in order to survive. Find the way to survive it and then find the way to tame it so that you'll be able to thrive here. Are the benefits worth it? Absolutely. But is it hard to get to that level? Well, it depends. If you're coming here with no job whatsoever, oh yeah, it's going to be hard as hell. If you're coming here with a job already in hand, it'll be slightly easier, yes. But you're going to have to rely on that one job perhaps to keep you out here or keep you fed or keep you relying on a well-paying job. I mean, that's why I say get your STEM degree or get whatever discipline that you can take around the world and you'll be able to market yourself wherever you go. But in order to set your mind on going through flyover country, living in flyover country, middle America, whatever, ultimately you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to change how the way you think. And you're going to have to change how you perceive things. If you're not ready for that, if you're not ready to do all those things, and the ultimate thing, one of the ultimate things that you're going to have to prepare for is sacrificing your social life, particularly family, friends, people who you cherish, your culture, your whatever food you like. Oh, get ready to say bye-bye to damn near all that. Because soul food isn't that easy to find. Finding a good barber isn't that, it's almost mission impossible depending on where you go. It took me like 6 months to find a good barber, and he's not even black. When it comes to food, I haven't found one good soul food place in general. Granted, I don't really care too much, or not, I don't say I don't really care too much, but I don't go out of my way for things like soul food. But I mean, the closest thing that we've had, or I've found, have been Cajun food. And I'm not even from Louisiana, but yeah, soul food, the food that a lot of blacks like. Don't hold your breath. When it comes to like religious institutions, like for those you all who love your big, soulful mega churches or AME churches, forget about it. Yeah, the list goes on. Family members, oh, you better get used to FaceTime or something. Or social media, but you can do that. But hanging out with them, going to the barbecue joints, or going out in the town with your friends and family, that's out the door. You're going to have to make new friends. And you're going to have to build yourself a new family. And in many instances, there are probably going to be people outside your race. Which leads to my final point. Get with like-minded people despite their skin color. Now, that goes back to the statement that not all the people out here, out in flyover country, are racist. Even though a lot of them are conservative, believe it or not, a lot of you all, yes you all, share a lot of more conservative values than you may realize. And quite frankly, something such as skin color and pigmentation shouldn't hold you back from finding good people that you could befriend, that you could hang out with, if only just to have a beer or two or to watch a few games. And who knows, maybe to network with, maybe to get a job from, or a better job from, maybe to meet some chicks, help with your dating life there, and to be considered an essential, well, not an essential, but just to be considered part of the community where you settle, in whatever flyover state you decided to live in. So it takes a lot of mental fortitude, takes a lot of sacrifice, but if you're willing to put up with a lot of the bull crap and sacrifice a lot of the amenities you're used to, the payoff is well worth it. So take heed. For all of you who decide to take that plunge towards making your own manifest destiny, good luck. And for everyone else out there, always bet on X.